All right, so here I am again. Today we're going to be talking about the Signet Ring. I'm very excited to be able to actually bring this to you. It's been a long time coming. And I'm going to go backwards, give you a little brief history from the very first signet ring that I ever saw that I was like, holy, what is that? But first let's start with the dictionary definition of signet. It basically is just a ring with a symbol or a word or an initial. Historically speaking, they've been worn by royalty. They've been used to authenticate documents, like you've seen the wicked cool oldie movies where somebody would use a seal, like a wax seal, and like imprint the ring. They've also been used to ferry like poison and to pass messages and to indicate status and to indicate like the kind of like connectivity of or membership of a group. So I thought, what better time than now to think about reimagining this symbol for us in this moment as a symbol of solidarity. I think they're a beautiful classic staple. They're a ring you could wear every day, but also like they could hold your unique meaning, and that's something that I'm all about. So I'm going to start with this first one that blew my mind. This very first one that has super deep meaning for me. This is a signet that belonged to my mother. She graduated in 1969. I used to wear it a lot, actually. I've always loved how it works with the stacking. Nesting bands. Yum. My mom was the first person in her family to go to college, and she went to UNCG, which was the University of North Carolina at Greensboro. And the reason why you would have to say G is because at the time, that college was not co-ed. Women had to have their own college. By the time she graduated, fortunately, because it was the 60s and they were getting hip to the fact that, that kind of disenfranchisement was unnecessary and a little outdated. So she eventually graduated from UNC in Chapel Hill. But this was the ring that signified that accomplishment. And I think it's also amazing that it came from a time when there was a massive shift in culture. So thinking about the signet going into this crazy time, just a little secondary rewind. I also, for a while, inspired by this ring, had done a little Bing Bang signet. So this was my first signet that ever belonged to me. I made this like when Bing Bang was kind of a baby brand, and I've worn it often. I also made myself a pinky ring and my husband when we got married. So I like the idea of having a ring on the pinky. I like the idea of the signet on the pinky. All this to say, we have a new version of the pinky ring, a new version of the signet, and it's totally amazing, totally customizable, personalizable, and can carry the story in the way that all of our other jewelry does. Your story, your talisman. Here we go. This is the plain one. Isn't she cute? Little tiny. Perfect for a pinky. It has two little tiny diamonds on each side. And I kind of designed it so that it has these little, what I'm calling kind of like shoulders. But I designed it so that like it feels almost like the signet is emerging from this sort of shell. Like the stalk of a flower coming out, like a tulip. So that's the plain version. These can be engraved. They can stay plain. They could even be engraved on the inside. Add a little secret message in there. You could cover them with diamonds, which we did, of course. So this version has the pave in that way that I spoke about, where it looks like it's kind of emerging from the band, and the pave is all over that part, up to the face. And it wouldn't be a proper signet if we didn't have a version of it that comes with a symbol. the signet with the plain face and the signet with the initial. I wanted to use kind of a deco font in that sort of circular fashion so that it really felt like a seal. But the idea is you could choose your initial for your first name, your last name, your secret middle name that no one knows. It could also be an affiliation, like if you're in a club and you wanted to choose the first letter, or it could be like a talisman in that you could choose a letter like A for abundance, M for manifestation, F for forever. You pick, guys. Sky is the limit. I also want to quickly show you how they stack. My favorite part. So here's a version with my current situation of nesting bands. But look how pretty. It's infinite. I can also show you, let's look at a few different ways that we could change the shape. Pretty snazzy. Pretty awesome. So going back to the root inspiration of this one, and that comment I made about what better time than now to reimagine the signet, I just like to think that maybe these could be little symbols of solidarity, whether that's sisterhood, chosen family, or anything really that feels like your way of reminding you that we're all connected, that we have a greater purpose, and that little tiny things can carry outsized meaning.